Hi there, today we're going to talk about lead scoring. So to start off with, just a little introduction of who I am. My name is Darren. I am the co-founder of Mpool, and you can ask me any questions or just follow me on my Twitter handle at Darren Smith. Right, so let's start off with why is there a need to score leads? So by scoring leads, you effectively are monitoring the behavior of your database, and it calculates which leads are likely to buy and when they're going to buy. So as you can see there with the picture of Where's Wally, like you've got a huge amount of people in your database, and which one is the one that's actually going to buy. And it goes beyond kind of single-dimensional monitoring. So a lot of people will say someone is likely to buy when they fill out a particular form. But leads don't behave in that linear fashion. So they're likely to have maybe read an email, visited a blog post, then filled out a form, then come back 3 weeks later and read a different blog post. That whole combination of behaviors might identify a qualified lead versus an unqualified lead. Which moves us nicely onto the next section, is what makes a lead qualified. So the first thing you need to do is identify all the factors that identify your perfectly qualified lead. So for example, a certain field that you require could be filled in. A company may be of a certain size. Certain pages on your website could be visited, or a combination of those pages. Emails could be opened, and you can put kind of criteria on all of these things. For example, the quantity of times that something's been done, or before it must be done before a particular date or after a particular date, or maybe the field needs to be of a certain length, as an example. Then you do the same thing for unqualified leads. So what is the clear things that leads do that make them unqualified? For example, they may have opted out of all emails, so you're unable to communicate with them. They may not have visited a certain page. For example, they might not have visited your pricing page. They may have provided an email address that is a free email address, or they might have just left information out when they were filling out forms. So once you have your entire list of what makes a lead qualified and what makes a lead unqualified, you then have to develop a scoring sliding scale. So next to each one of those negative and positive behaviors, you need to either add some points to your total lead score or subtract points from a total lead score. And different things are going to have different levels or different intensities. So for example, if they opened an email, you may add 10 to the score, but if they visited your pricing page, that you may add 50. On the other side, if they opted out of all email, you may want to minus 800 from their score. So it's really important to work out what is the intensity of each behavior that you have identified that makes a lead qualified and unqualified. Once you have a lead score for a lead, you can then start building triggers. So what you'll do is you'll set a threshold. So you need to identify what is that threshold. So when a score gets to a particular level, say 100, then you can go and trigger a whole bunch of internal or external communication. And when it comes to that communication, so obviously an internal type of communication could be notifying a salesperson that a lead has now reached a certain lead score and they can follow up. External communication is actually communicating directly with that lead. Now, I would recommend going for the external communication first, because this is machine learning and you are kind of trying to work out intensities of things. And for example, someone could have just gone and visited a particular page, for example, your blog 50 times, and they've got a huge lead score, but in fact it's just a competitor that's trying to monitor what you're doing. So the safest thing to do is to build out an external communications program that once a lead score hits a certain level, then you start communicating with that lead, and so you can so you can work out if they are actually qualified, because if they are qualified, they will then start communicating with you back. So if you are using HubSpot, you can set this all up you simply go to the lead scoring tab under contacts, go to manual lead scoring, and you are able to set up a series of positive and negative attributes. It's really, really easy. Just follow the wizard, click on add new, assign the score, and then identify whether it's you are lead scoring on a contact property, company property, deal property, list membership, form submission, email behavior, page view behavior, a particular event, workflow status, call to action, AdWords property, and LinkedIn property. As you can see, it's the exact same set of criteria you can use for lists and you can use for workflows. So once you've done it once in HubSpot, it's the same across everywhere. For those people that are using HubSpot and they're on the enterprise license, you have access to predictive lead scoring. So obviously everything that we've spoken about now is a human intervention. So you've said if these people do these things, then score this, then give them these points. Now humans can only kind of process a certain amount of complexity. So what predictive lead scoring is essentially complex machine learning. So it monitors the positive and negative attributes of your existing database, plus the order in which they happen and how close they happen and so on. So it's a very complex algorithm. And in order for it to do this, you need at least 3 months of data in your database, and you must be closing the loop. So you must be indicating which leads are turning into customers and which leads are not turning into customers. What the machine learning algorithm then does is it works out which leads based on hundreds and hundreds of different attributes are highly likely to buy and which are not likely to buy. So then you can then focus your efforts. So for example, in this example, you can focus on the 9% that are highly likely to buy. You're probably able to send that directly to a sales team to go and close those. And then the 24%, you can focus on some sort of lead nurturing programs to get them further down the sales funnel. As you can see just from that graph just below is some of the attributes that are being considered to work out this algorithm. But it is, as I said, based on complex behavior. So when they visited, how they visited, on which device, the gaps between behaviors, negative behaviors, positive behaviors. So it is very complex but very accurate. So to test what you have learned today, go to offers.mpool.com/academy-lead-scoring and go and complete the task there and find out what video is next in our training series. Thank you.